Okay, it's the graphics guy. Welcome back, and today we're going looking at the Junior Cert 2018 Ordinary Level Section A. Short questions. Just a reminder, you have to answer 10 questions. Probably better off to do 12 or 13, just in case you make a few mistakes, but you don't need to do them all. So question 1 there, the elevation and incomplete in view of a sewing machine. So just looking at the pictorial over here, the 3D pictorial, so I'm going to be bringing across the top and projecting up the left hand side. And I will just heavy that in because I can see from the pictorial that they are definitely heavy. Now, when you're looking in from here, you're definitely going to see this edge here. Definitely going to see that. So again, I'll just project that across light and heavy it in. Now, what I will also see here is the space up here means I'm going to have a dotted line here for hidden detail. Like that. So I've got my button here, the blade, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Now question 2 there, you're asked to do a freehand pictorial of the flower pot here. So you're better off to do this pretty light in case you make any mistakes. So what I would just start off there is with, I would start at the top in this situation. So I would draw an ellipse there for that. And the second ellipse just outside it. Now I could have gone inside if I wanted, but so there's my ellipse. Here's the straight bit coming down here. Now what I want to do then is kind of a parallel ellipse if such a thing exists, but an ellipse roughly the same curve. And then we've got a little step off in here then, so you just want to come in a small bit and keep roughly the same parallel slope again. And just want to get the proportion pretty decent there. So that's not too bad. I'm just going to heavy that in. And I am going to put a surface that it's resting on. Just heavy these lines in a bit. And our next move there then is just find some colouring pencils. Now I know it's a little bit of extra bother to colour in that surface on the ground, but I do think it's worth it in terms of having a nice finished drawing of an object sitting on the ground. So I'm going to just go heavy to the outside with these now. So go quite heavy with these. I'm going to just lighten it off then coming in, gradually lightening it off. Okay, so that will do. Now question 3 here, it says use a tick there to identify whether each of these is an input or an output device. So does it give the information into the computer or is it giving you the information out? So a mouse anyway definitely sends information to the computer because looking at the mouse will never tell you anything. The keyboard, well, you can't check the news on a keyboard, so that's an input as well. A monitor, then you can check the news or get information or watch a movie, so a monitor would be an output. Speakers, output, you can hear the news. Now a scanner is for scanning information into the computer, so that's an input device. And a printer, you can print out the news or the sports results or whatever, so a printer would be an output device. Now question 4 there, you have to complete the enlarged logo of ABCD. Okay, so we're drawing this over here. Now they've done the curvy bit there. So the first thing I would say there is you want to put in the square boxes there, those 4 square boxes. So you're going to need to divide or to find the center of that. So the easiest way to do that is I'll just really lightly mark this diagonal, and that gives us the center point here. And I'm going to just make these squares here now nice and light. Okay, so that's our square there, and we can see now from here that this line heavy going up here is going from the bottom corner D to the middle of the top. So I'll draw the light. And I'll just heavy end in the part that I want. That's that bit there. Now I've also got a heavy bit vertical going up here. That being that bit there. So, and it's also a heavy coming over here. So you do need to look carefully there to see where the heavy lines are. Now the next thing I want then is I need a diagonal here now, just joining that corner to there. And that gives me the corner here of this triangle. Now I need to find the other corner, which is kind of similar down here. It's a diagonal in the bottom right hand square. So that gives me that corner, and both of them go to corner B. So that's just joining the dots. And I'm going to heavy in the edge now of this. So it's a logo for a satellite dish or Sky Channel or something like that. So that's that heavy then, that triangle and there. So because I'd completely enlarged logo and it didn't ask to colour it, so I'm not going to bother because when it didn't ask. So that's question 4. Now question 5 here now, this ellipse question, okay. Now anything to do with focal points. So it says there F and F1 are the focal points, and we need to find the focal points to find where those slopes go up to here. So what they're looking for there now is, do you know that the focal points is half of the major axis swung from the end of the minor axis gives us the focal points. So just mark them in there, F and F1. And now that we've located them, we can just go vertically up from the focal points bring the height of the top of it across. So we now know for sure that the top of it goes there, and then it slopes down to here. So locate the focal points and complete the outline of the bridge. Now question 6 here, we're being asked to make a well proportioned freehand sketch. Okay, so we want to do this freehand of an ATM machine. Now basically they've given us the outline here, which is 3 boxes wide. So we know that this is the end of it. This is the side view. That's the front view. So what we're doing is counting boxes. So that's the end is 3 wide, 1, 2, 3. So the front is 1, 2, 3, 4 wide. So I'm going to put on 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the front of it here. And I'm going to go then vertically up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that there is the front panel of this box. Now, because we're asked to color this in afterwards, I might do some coloring there now just to kind of help people to understand and to see this. I'm going to just throw a few colors on this there. It doesn't make the question any longer because we have to do it afterwards. So that green edge is here. And we have now drawn that. So what's coming next now is this diagonal slope here, and I will just do a color on this as well. I think it would help. So if I put that in this olive green here, we're talking about that slopey section here, okay, where the keypad, if it's an ATM, where the screen would be. Okay, so that's going back 1 and up 1. So back 1 and up 1 would be to here. Okay, so horizontal 1 and up 1 would be there. Now we know it's 4 wide then, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And that there would be this surface done. Now after that then it goes vertically up 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. Now just find another color there for that. So some red on that. So that surface would be going up there. So now we're back to our side view here. So it comes over 2 and down 1. So it's over 2 and down 1, and you can see that this was already a heavy end for us. So all of this here is the side view. So and on the other colors here, I'm gonna go purple with the side view there now. So that purple side view here, now that would be here. In the front view. So that's our side view here. Now I know the colouring makes it a little bit slower to do that, especially when we're colouring these views as well, which you don't need to in the exam, but I do think it helps people to understand what's going on. So that's our side view done. Now, very easy not to forget this, because we're looking down on top of this a little bit from in a 3D view. This goes back 4 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can also see there that top surface there. So I just put that in there. And that top surface would be here. Just the edge view of it there. And you can't see it in that view because it's sloping down to the back. So that there is our coloured freehand 3D. Now question 7 here now is one of these counting the boxes, and the rule with this is that if there's more than half a box, you'd count it, and if it's less than half a full box, you don't count it. But this year here was there was a very easy way of doing this. If you just happen to notice that semicircle sticking out here, if you were to chop it off and move it over here, would fit in here perfectly. So it would be in here in this space, and that would give us a perfect rectangle. And if you were lucky enough to notice that, then you'd know that it is 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 48 square units. So we know that the answer is 48, but that's just if you happen to notice that. Now, what I'm going to do here now is I am going to do this though as if, you know, I didn't notice that, so I'm counting boxes. Now, again, is there any way of making life a little bit easier? And because this is symmetrical, it's the exact same shape, that if I draw a line through the middle of this, so if I just count half of it, I could double that number. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 8 full boxes there. That's 9 because that's more than half. 10. I'm counting this because it's more than half. 16, 17, 18. Okay, so I'm counting all of them. I'm not counting that because that's less than half. That's less than half. So that's 24. And because the other side is the same, I could say 24 and 24 is 48. Or you could just continue to number it up along there. But we know anyway the answer is 48. Now, question 8 here is just using the scale. Okay, so write down the measurement, but it's a scaled measurement. So what you need is your compass. Set your compass and mark it from the 0. Be sure it's from the 0 you mark it. So we can see there that first measurement is exactly 50 for A. And the same thing then, we'll set our compass here to distance B. Very important to have a sharp point in your compass. And from 0 again, we're going to swing that, and we notice that that there is exactly 15. Okay, so you've got to use the scale and swing from 0. Now question 9 here. Which of these is the right elevation or front view? So if I was looking in from here, what am I going to see? Now one way you could do this is you could number this. You've got 1, 2, and then you'd see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would be above that, and 10. So I've got 1, 2 here, so it's not A. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 should be up there, so it's not B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's that, but I'll just double check this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be there now. So it's definitely C. Now question 10. Complete the drawing of the fidget spinner and show all the construction points. And the points, all construction and all points of contact. Okay, so you can see here that this curve here is left out on this, but you've got the centers. So you've got the center 1 for that curve, center 2 for this curve. We need to find center 3 up here. So an easy way of getting it is from the center of there out to here is that distance. So I can swing an arc from this one and from that one, and that there then is center 3. Or another way, because there's often more than one way of doing these things, another way I could have done it is I could have just drawn this line out through there, and I could have measured that distance with my compass and stepped it out there as well. That would have found it as well. So that there is the center. Now I'm going to find the points of contact here next. So that's just a matter, the point of contact is always on the line joining the centers. Okay, when circles are in contact and touching. So I'm just joining all of these. And I'm going to mark these in with a red dot there now, just so you can see. So that's a point of contact. That is 2. So that's going to find me all my points of contact, of which there should be 6. So I'll just highlight these in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And finally there now, I just need to draw in this curve heavy. So set your compass to the point of contact. And there we go. Now question 11 here, some CAD commands. So to get from there to there would be a mirror. And circle would get us that. Guys, we're just drawing our offset. Might get us that as well. And that's going to be extrude. Now question 12 here, count the number of squares and the number of rectangles. So I'm going to count the squares first, and I'm just going to highlight them in there just so you can see the ones I'm talking about. So I'm going to start with the small one. So there's 1, and this one here, that's 2. There's a square here, 3, and this square is 4. And the whole thing here then finally is 5. So that's 5 squares I'm getting. Now I'll just change colors here then for counting the rectangles. So again, rectangles. So I'm going to start with this one. Is 1, and if I extended it down another bit, that's 2. And the same thing over here, then that's a rectangle here, 3, and if I extended it over, that's 3 and 4. Now I've got a rectangle here. All of this one is a rectangle, 5. And then there's this rectangle here. So that's 6 rectangles. Now question 13 here. It is a logo for a racing team based on a regular hexagon. Okay, so you can see there the outline of that is a regular hexagon. So I am going to just complete that regular hexagon before I do any more. So what you want here is a 60-degree set square. Just mark the height of that over here. Okay, so that would be our regular hexagon. Now I'm going to extend up then some of these so I can see there that is coming up to there, and that one is heavy coming up to here, to my top corner. And I'm going to just heavy these in, I think, with pen there, just to help you see these a little bit better. So that and there. This one. Now it's horizontal over here along the top. And then it comes down to the corner here. Now, one box down here. Like that. And comes in one box. Now that is heavy, then going up there and across. And I need there then to heavy in that here. Now I'm going to put some colours on this now again, just to help you see it there, because it's not so easy to see. So this is that part of it, and then it returns back down here. And in to there. Okay, so that is question 13, complete the logo. Now question 14 here now is perspective. Now again, I'm going to just put a small bit of colour on this before we start. Okay, now that there is the back panel in the soccer dugout, and we've got that. Okay, so that's been done for us. That's going to help us there now just to see what we're doing, because some people find perspective a bit tricky. So what I'm going to do first is because we have this corner here, I'm going to use the vanishing point back here and draw that line forward to there. And I'm going to just even heavy that in a little bit more. So that gives us, if that's the right, that gives us the left side over here. Now we know then that the dugout goes vertically up here, so I'll draw that light, and what I'm going to do then is find the top of it here. So both the front goes back that angle to the vanishing point, so that's going to find me there. And I'm going to also draw in the back of it as well, vanishing towards there. Now I've got to vanish the front of it, then back to the other vanishing point, because that's going to the right. And I now have found definitely the back corners here, so I'm going to heavy in the top. also heavy in this vertical here. So now what I'm missing here now is just that edge where the side panel here meets the slope at the back there, so that has to be going up towards there, but then it just disappears, as you can see here. So, and there we go. I think that is done. Now finally then 15 here, complete the design of the logo there, so, and color or sheet the completed logo. But what we've got here really is these symbols over here mean that that line here is broken up into 4 equal parts. So what's being looked for here is the division of a line. So I'm going to just mark out 4 equal distances here. Okay, so I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 40. So that's 4 equal distances. Join the 4th one to the end of the line and go parallel. Okay, so that is the first thing. I have now divided this line here into 4 equal distances, so I'm going to just set my compass and draw these arcs. So be careful now that you're setting them off the line. 2 and 3. So that there is our arcs, and what we just need to do there now is just color or shade in two of them. Now there, just a reminder, I have gone through all 15 questions here. In the exam you have to do 10, but you definitely want to do a few spare ones. So even though this has taken us about 40 minutes to do, really in the exam you could do that in less because you wouldn't do all those questions. So I hope you enjoy doing that, and see you at the next lesson.